Hey guys, this is Miss Lily. We're going to talk about equations of a circle today. First thing in your notes, I want you to go ahead and write down the equation of a circle. This is something you're going to need for your ACT, so this is very useful information. Alright, so we have x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals to your radius squared. Okay? Alright, now what is h and k? So we're going to have h. Sorry, my handwriting does not do very well on here. Let me see if I can do a little bit better there. Alright, h. Well, now my pen is not writing. Give me just a second. Alright, h and k is the center of my circle. Okay, so you have the center, and then you have r, which is your radius. Alright, so equation of a circle, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Write an equation of a circle. Alright, knowing that we have a formula, if we're given the center and the radius, we know that this is our h, and this is our k, and this is our r. So all we have to do is take these numbers and plug it into this formula. So we're going to have x minus h quantity squared plus y minus our k quantity squared is equal to r squared. 2 squared is 4. Okay, so this is r. We have to take r and square it for the formula. Alright, again, we'll just do one more. X minus a negative 1. We'll make this plus 1. And then y minus 7 squared equals 14 squared. Alright, now, in the next problem, it gives us h, k, and it gives us diameter. Okay, so you have to know the difference between diameter and radius. For radius is what we use in the equation. So diameter, remember, is the entire length across the center of the circle, and the radius goes from the center to any point on the outside. So the diameter is really twice the radius. So if we have the diameter, we know that the radius, and my pen's not working again. Sorry about that. Well, thought I was going to make a video. Alright, maybe it'll work. Alright, so if our diameter is the full length across the center of our circle, our radius is halfway across, so it's going to be half of 18, which is 9. And then you do the exact same thing that we did up here. So you're going to have x minus negative 2, makes that a plus 2 squared. And then we're going to have y minus negative 11, so that'll be plus 11 squared equals 9 squared. Alright, so remember that the equation has minus h and minus k, so when it has a negative here for the center, we have to do negative, negative. Okay? All right, so let's look at one down here that has a square root. This looks harder, but it's actually no different. All right, so if we have the center, x minus -4, and y minus 0, so if you have plus or minus 0, you can put that, but you really can just put squared because plus or minus 0 doesn't really change anything. And then if you have the square root and you square that, because we have to do radius squared for the equation, the square root and the squared cancel and leaves just 47. Okay? All right, so hopefully this helps us get started on. All right, given a graph, we want to write an equation. So we're given a picture of a circle. So the first thing we want to do is find out where is the center of this circle. So we're going to start at the origin, and we're going to count over on our x's, 1, 2, 3, and down 1, 2. So we can say that our center is 3, and down 2 is -2. So if our center is 3, -2, and then we can count our radius is from the center to any point on the outside. We probably want to go left, right, up, or down because that gives us an exact measurement. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our radius is 5. So then our equation is exactly the same as our formula before. We're going to have x minus h and y minus -2 makes that plus 2. And equals our radius squared, which is 25. Okay? All right, so what are we going to do if we have a center and a point? Okay, the center and a point. If we have a center and a point, we can use the distance formula in order to find the distance from the center to any point on the circle. If we do that, then we're actually finding the radius. Okay? So we're going to use the distance formula. I usually go ahead and put this all down. The distance formula, again, is a formula you need to know for the ACT, so that's something you might review if you have forgotten. We did that a couple units ago. But we're going to do x minus x. And the order in which you do your points doesn't matter. And then we're going to do y minus y. And then we're just going to simplify. So we're going to have 9 minus 7, which is 2 squared. And 10 minus 4 is 6. So we're going to have 4 plus 36. And that equals the square root of 40. Okay? All right, so this is our radius. Why is it our radius? Again, because it goes from the center to a point on the circle. We use the distance formula to find that. But the center to any point on the circle is actually our radius. So we know h and k. So we're going to have x minus 9 squared. And we're going to have y minus 10 squared equals. And then if we take the radius and square it, the square undoes the square root. And that gives us 40. All right, we're going to do one more of these quickly. We're going to use the center and a point on a circle to find the radius using the distance formula. Okay, so we're going to do square root. And I'm going to do my x's, x minus x. And I'm going to do my y minus y. And I'm going to have 2 minus 1, which is just 1 squared. And then plus I have not negative 6 minus 10, which is negative 16, and negative 16 squared becomes a positive number because any number squared is positive. So negative 16 squared would be positive 256. 1 squared is 1. 256 plus 1 is 257. Okay, so that's our distance. Again, we can call that our radius. So our radius is this. Here's my h and my k. So I'm going to have x minus 2 squared plus y minus negative 6 makes that a plus 6 squared equals the square root of 257 squared, which is just 257. All right, moving on, we're given the circumference and the area, and we're trying to still just write an equation of a circle. So we're writing equations of circles given lots of different things. All right, if you remember, circumference equals 2 pi r, or diameter times pi. All right, if we're given circumference, we know that that equals diameter times pi. So to find the radius is half the diameter. So if the diameter here is 6, the radius is 3. And we have to know that in order to write the equation of a circle. So again, we're given the center, and now we know the radius. So we're going to do x minus negative 1 plus 1. And my pen just has a mind of its own. All right, and then we have plus y minus 4 squared equals radius squared, r squared is 9 in this case. All right, again, if we have the circumference is 17 pi, we know the diameter is 17, so the radius is half of that, which is 8.5 in this case. And then we would do the same thing, x minus 9 squared plus y minus 12 squared is equal to 8.5 squared, which I believe is 72.25. Okay. All right, moving on. Next we are given the area. If you remember, the area of a circle is pi r squared. So this is actually our r squared. So r would be the square root of that, or 4. But since in the equation of a circle we actually need r squared, that's not a bad thing to have r squared. You just have to know what you're given. So we're going to have x minus negative 8, which is plus 8 squared. Y minus negative 4 becomes plus 11 squared equals r squared. R squared, 4 squared is 16. So again, that was given to us. Okay, same thing. This is our r squared. So we're going to have x minus 2 squared plus y minus a negative 2 makes that a plus 2 squared is equal to 361. Okay.